and welcome to another episode of Wheels of Fury. Now, this episode will air Monday midnight, so the Royal Rumble this year will be past, but hopefully you'll see our prediction videos for tonight. This is weird to even bring that up, but whatever, I thought I would.
Yeah.
Tonight we're going to talk about Royal Rumble 2021.
Yep.
Look back at it.
Yeah, we're already quite a ways into the pandemic at this point.
Yeah.
Of course, by this point in time, WWE had come up with the Thunderdome concept, which is a very cool concept.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, let's have Royal Rumble at the Thunderdome. Now, at this point in time, like initially, when the pandemic first happened, they were doing a lot of shows at the Performance Center. And then, when they started doing the Thunderdome, at first they were at, I believe it was the Amway Center?
Yes.
And at this point, they were in St. Petersburg at Tropicana Field.
Yes.
And so you have a much bigger arena, although they only use seeing Tropicana Field on TV and watching, well, St. Petersburg is where the Timbers play, and
Yeah.
having seen games of like, the Blue Jays against Tampa. In Tampa, I've seen Tropicana Field many times, and it's quite a big stadium. They only used a section of it for the set for the Royal Rumble. You do see more of it, but we'll get to that
Yeah.
for when we get to the match itself.
Yeah, I think at the time, I know that we didn't have a regular Wheels of Fury episode,
No.
so it was kind of interesting just to do that whole webcam thingy. And so
Yeah.
I was at my parents', Kyle was in his apartment.
Yeah.
I was actually fortunate, and well, I mean, Kyle would have watched it too.
Yes.
The pre-show, you have Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler defeating the team of Asuka and Charlotte Flair for the women's tag team titles.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That was an interesting team, and I mean, we talk about the whole thing with WrestleMania 34,
Right.
Charlotte and Asuka. Honestly, it was a good match.
Yeah.
I just think the wrong person won.
Yeah.
But this was a good match too, and I think as much flack as we could also give Nia Jax in her hole, I think that, you know what, she's very enthusiastic,
Yeah.
somewhat. But I think, Shayna, we talked about her possibly winning tomorrow for the women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And so we had this match. Okay, we didn't really watch, but yeah, Nia and Shayna ended up winning. So
Yeah. And to go on to the WWE Championship match, Drew McIntyre defending the title against Goldberg. In a fairly good match.
So I don't know why, but for some reason Goldberg came back and decided that Drew McIntyre was disrespectful. I don't know what that was all about. He wanted McIntyre to prove that he had respect for his like elders or whatever the fuck it was. I have no idea.
Yeah.
And look, I wanted to see if Goldberg can hold the title.
Yeah.
He was already two-time Universal Champion. I thought maybe holding the WWE title would be cool.
Yeah.
That wasn't in the case, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But this was a good match, and there's really no botches.
No.
So that was cool. And again, as much flack as we give Nia, we also give Goldberg all that shit too, because I mean, there have been stories, whatever, but this was a fairly good match.
Yeah.
And Drew ended up going over and retaining the title.
Yeah. It was a physical match and quite an intense match, and to me it made sense to have McIntyre go over.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, well, it would have been cool to see Goldberg win,
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
but who's he gonna face at Elimination Chamber?
Right.
Or even WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Like, who knows?
Yeah.
But also, I think, you know, it's a little too late for that. I mean, it's almost like The Undertaker and Goldberg, and yeah, back in 2002, 2003, it wasn't necessarily in the cards, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
At that time, you know, you had the American Badass gimmick for Taker.
Yeah.
You know, eventually you have him revert back to the dead man, but then at that point, Goldberg was on his way out, so...
Yeah.
And we again won't talk about the Saudi Arabia match, so...
Yeah.
But... yeah, so I mean, McIntyre was a good champion as well. I believe this was his second run.
I believe so, yeah.
So, after losing to Randy Orton at Hell in a Cell, which was also a good match.
Yeah.
So, and again, I mean, the Thunderdome was cool, but at the same time, it was also, I could see some people's point where it was like, just people that can watch a screen. You have no idea what they're doing, but you know, it's like we're gonna add people to make it look like there's an audience in the crowd. I thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have canned in noise, which was stupid, but still, I thought it was a good way to interact. Again, I wish I could try to do that, but I didn't have the chance, and I didn't necessarily know how.
Yeah. I think you need, yeah. I had to go on WWE.com and then like put in your name and email or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't think it was like you had to sign up for anything. It was just like you had to just fill out something
Yeah.
to get a spot for, you know, either the Royal Rumble or, you know, a Raw or a SmackDown or whatever.
Right.
So,
Then you have SmackDown Women's Championship. You've got Sasha Banks versus Carmella with Reggie.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this when we were just looking at the highlights for Royal Rumble 2021. At this point, Carmella was doing like the most beautiful woman in all of WWE gimmick. It didn't last long.
Because it was stupid. You know, it's one of those things where it's like, I get it. You want to have Corey and Carmella announce it. They're a couple and everything else, and that's fine. It's just, they also appeared to have a reality show that I don't believe really caught on.
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah. And, you know, with WWE and having a reality show like Total Bellas or
Yeah.
whatever, it just seems like if you're gonna do that, a reality show,
Yeah.
say their real names.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it didn't seem like you had that, which is whatever, but, you know, I just thought, I have no idea where Carmella has been lately.
Yeah, I don't know where she's been lately either.
Like, I know Mercedes is now in New Japan,
Right.
and she's gonna be at Battle of the Valley
Yes.
facing Kylie.
Yes.
So that's gonna be cool, and we'll see how that goes. With Carmella, I don't know where she is. Of course, Reggie is now Scripps,
Yes.
which, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say this, he's a very good acrobat,
Oh,
I
yeah.
guess, you know. It's just, I'm not sure where they're going with him,
No.
so, yeah. Anyways, this was cool. This was really good, actually.
Yeah, it was a good match.
I mean, a lot of good reversals, and I mean, both very talented wrestlers. You have whatever Carmella's move was turned into a bank statement,
Yeah.
and you have at one point Sasha going out the outside to give Reggie a Hurricane Rana.
Well, Sasha was on the apron,
Oh, right.
and Carmella tacked her off or pushed her off, whatever. Reggie caught her, and then she somehow transitioned it into a Hurricane Rana. I was like, that was nice.
But they had a very good feud. I wish it was a bit longer,
Yeah.
but Sasha ended up going over, retaining the title, and yeah, she would carry it all the way to WrestleMania, and that was groundbreaking in itself. But yeah, she had a good run, and I mean, again, a lot of people didn't really like her,
Yeah.
which is, you know, it is what it is, and I know I write down the whole Bailey Sasha thing when they were heels, and the role model gimmick, whatever, but I mean, at the same time, it was also the pandemic era, so it was like, they had very little to work with,
Yeah. Yeah.
so, and there's rumors that Mercedes is going to AEW, so I'm not sure where that's gonna
Yeah.
go, and I mean, I don't see her return to WWE anytime soon.
No.
Although, never say never.
Oh yeah, never say never. I just think for right now, like when her and Naomi walked out, Christ, that was months ago.
Yeah,
You know, they just did their own thing for a little while, and then it finally got to a point where Mercedes was like, I want to, go back to doing what I love. I want to wrestle. But I don't want to go back to WWE. And so she, after got offers from several organizations, just decided to go to Japan.
and it made a lot of sense because when she had her mental breakdown,
Yeah.
if you will, that she took some time off.
Yeah.
She cleared her head and she decided to go to Japan.
Right.
And she trained at a dojo or whatever. And she had a few matches. She saw a few good shows, and honestly, it's a perfect fit for her.
Yeah, I think she did some training with Miko Satomura.
Yes.
And so, yeah, do some training with her and watch some shows in Japan, and then, I did see some little bits and little videos on Instagram, I believe it was, of her, like, doing modeling stuff. And
Yeah.
I think she did some other things. And then, yeah, I guess eventually decided she wanted to wrestle again. I guess signed with New Japan.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
good on her. And I do believe it was, a dream of hers to eventually wrestle in Japan. Well,
Oh,
now
yeah.
she's getting that opportunity.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a good thing for her.
Yeah.
You know? I just can't wait to see how far it's going to go.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Have the
Oh, right.
Women's Royal Rumble match. And it was a really good match.
Yes.
You had, you know, Bianca Belair, you had Rhea Ripley, you had Nia Jax, you had Shayna Baszler, you had, you know, all those women, and then you had, like, Alicia Fox,
Yes.
Tori Wilson, Mickie James. Yeah, she competed in that year's Royal Rumble. Victoria.
Yeah, this was fun. And again, you have Alicia Fox in her last WWE appearance.
Yeah.
You know, you also have the Iconics, you know, and I think that for what it's worth, I mean, they had a very good run in WWE. And
Oh, yeah.
I mean, considering that NXT was good, the Iconics were great.
Yeah.
Obviously, I was not the only one, I'm sure, that was pissed off that they decided to call. They were split up. They didn't call it quits. You know, Billy did her own thing, and then, you know, Peyton did her own thing.
But yeah, Billy and Peyton were doing their own thing, and then Billy left. Peyton was doing her own thing for a little while.
Yes.
She really wasn't getting anywhere, and then she ultimately decided to leave. And then they were away for quite a while. Then they ended up showing up on Impact as the Inspiration.
Yeah.
Had a fairly good run on Impact as the Inspiration. Unfortunately, what could have been wasn't.
Yeah. But
And well, I mean,
yeah.
I don't mean that in a facetious way. It's just,
Yeah.
you know, there were in Impact. There were these like better versions of themselves when they were in WWE as the Iconics, you could say.
Yeah.
Fairly good run, and there could have been so much more that could have been done with them. Then they're only there maybe 3 months, roughly,
But, yeah.
and then they're gone.
Yeah. But I mean, Cassie and Sean now have a baby,
Right.
and Jessica, I'm not sure where she is at the moment. So
Yeah.
yeah, very good tag team, and I mean very charismatic as well. Obviously, WrestleMania 35, you have Jessica coming out in the Maleficent gear, and so I mean, yeah, they were good on Impact as well. So I'm sure they'll come back together. I'm just not sure when.
Yeah. And may either, you know, do more with Impact, maybe go back to WWE or go somewhere else, who knows?
Yeah.
So, and they had this one moment where Naomi was kind of hanging up, kind of hanging by her feet. She was almost on the floor, and over the top rope, managed to like catch herself and then get her feet on the bottom rope, and then Bianca was getting pulled up by the hair by, can't remember who it was.
Yeah.
And she ended up in the exact same spot, position Naomi was in. And they're, you know, hitting each other, trying to eliminate each other. Then they're like, wait. Okay, you're athletic, I'm athletic. We've got our feet on the ropes here. Let's work together and get back in the ring. And so they, like, held hands and they were doing, like, these crunches, basically.
Yeah.
And then managed to, you know, get up and work their way back into the ring. And that was pretty cool.
I mean, that would have been a cool tag team. Bianca
Yeah.
Belair and Naomi.
It would have been a good tag team.
I mean, it is what it is, and I'm not sure when Trinity's planning on coming back to the ring,
Yeah,
if she is at all. So
yeah.
yeah, but Rhea Ripley was there. I think Rhea just came in from NXT,
I believe so, yeah.
so I mean, I could say the same for Ricochet. We'll talk about
Ricochet,
that in
yeah.
a minute. But ultimately, oh yeah, You know, we mentioned Lacey Evans in her previous Royal Rumble prediction video.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Huh?
Of course, it'll have already happened, but anyways. Yeah, Lacey Evans, I forgot about this, was managed by Ric Flair for a while.
For a little bit, yeah.
So she's coming out in this robe.
Yeah. Coming out in a robe, much like Charlotte would wear, and, you know, Charlotte proceeded to beat the crap out of her, and,
Yeah.
you know, they got in the ring, and they were fighting, and then, you know, eventually Lacey did get eliminated by, I think it might have been Nia Jax, I think.
Right.
Anyways.
So, yeah. Bianca Belair ended up winning the Royal Rumble for the women, and yeah, went on to WrestleMania, had her match with Sasha Banks, and became the first, for the first time,
Yeah.
the WWE Women's SmackDown Champion. And yeah, you know what? It was a cool run. And, you know, it was a shame it ended when it did, but I mean, Becky Lynch came back. I mean, that's something, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you have a last man standing match. You have Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief, Universal Champion,
Right.
versus Kevin Owens. Now apparently this isn't their first time meeting at the Royal Rumble, or at a Royal Rumble. So I, for some reason, was unaware of that.
Yeah, it's interesting doing the projections for Royal Rumble tomorrow, yesterday, and talking about Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens, and, you know, we talked about doing a look back at 2021, and yeah, they had this match at the Royal Rumble 2 years ago, last man standing, and boy, that was a hell of a match.
They beat the piss out of each other.
Oh yeah.
They go all the way to the Tropicana Field arena, whichever.
Yeah.
And, you know, just the whole fucking spots, man.
Oh yeah.
You know, you have a power bomb on a table. You have Kevin Owens going up on a forklift, doing a dive off of it.
Swanton on to Roman on whatever it was.
And I believe this was a few weeks after the All Out match,
Yeah.
where Matt Hardy jumped off and got a concussion.
Well, him and
Sammy Guevara.
had it was like I forget what it was called, broken match or something like that. And yeah, they're backstage, and you know, up on a forklift, and they're gonna do something, and yeah, the landing was not very nice.
No. And I mean, people just whipped AEW to shreds. How could you let him wrestle and finish the match with a concussion? You know, nowadays I could see that. I mean, back then when Mick Foley did the thing at Hell in a Cell, yeah, guess what? You know, it was a different time. No excuse, it's just the way it was.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm glad Matt's okay. Everything else, and I think Kevin pulled off the stunt very well.
Kevin had handcuffed
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Roman to one of those truss things. The referee was counting, and then Roman grabbed the ref and threw him into something and took him out. And Kevin was pummeling away on Roman, and then something happened, and there's Paul Heyman doing the handcuffs to Roman, and then, yeah, Roman put Kevin in the guillotine and choked him out and got the win.
Yeah.
And I remember Roman talking about this. It was, sorry for something or other. And he was like, yeah, Paul was having a hard time getting their key right for the freaking handcuffs. Getting the handcuffs undone. It's like, oh boy.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I mean, this was a time when Roman was the champion for a few months at least. So it was like, would have been cool to see Kevin as the Universal Champion. Of course it would have. I would have. Actually, I think that was my prediction at the time.
I think so, yeah.
So, I mean, it didn't happen. It sucks. We'll see what happens at WrestleMania. I mean,
Yeah.
there was a lot of... He wasn't, unfortunately, my pick, but
Right.
we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, I mean, it was a really, really good match. And, you know, Roman, 2 years as not only the Universal Champion, but WWE Champion.
Yes.
Just can't wait till they fucking merge the two.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so we have the men's Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And this was pretty cool. And
Yeah.
again, I didn't realize this until we watched the highlights. Edge started as number 1.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, Edge started as number 1. Randy was number 2. You know, you go back to... You go to when they first initially started feuding again. There was the greatest match of all time, which... it was a good match, but, you know, greatest match of all time. And
well, once again,
it was overhyped.
it was. It didn't really need to happen. I don't think it was really necessary. It was cool to hear Howard Finkel's voice again.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where, once again, they're grasping at straws. They don't have an audience. So, you can only do what you can. But,
Yeah.
you have Carlito coming back,
Yeah.
Christian,
Yeah.
he's Rey Mysterio, Dolph Ziggler, I believe Bobby Roode. So at the New Day, you have Cesaro. It was pretty cool because you had, well, first of all, Edge and Christian reunite.
Yeah.
That was very special, obviously.
Yeah.
Then you have Cesaro and Sheamus together,
Yeah.
you know. And I think, you know, it was a very good take team. I think Cesaro had a very good run, and I know that either as face or heel take team, they were very, very good. They complemented each other well,
Yeah.
and had a very good European style.
Yeah.
You know, I think Claudio is doing very well in AEW.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just kind of cool to reminisce about those days.
Yeah.
Even though, you know, he got his start in Ring of Honor in the European wrestling scene.
Right.
But, yeah, this was a really good match, and I mean, obviously, you know, that Edge went over.
Yes.
And, you know, I still hold on to that. You know, you have 2020. Edge makes his surprise return
Yes.
into the Royal Rumble. And, well, you know, he didn't win.
No.
But you thought, okay, there's always next year.
Yeah.
He had some very good matches with Randy Orton.
Yeah.
He had, also had some other good matches with other people.
Yeah.
And he thought, okay, he's going to be in this year's Royal Rumble. And he was,
Yeah.
and he won. He was actually one of 3, I believe. No, 4, I think.
Something like that. Start at the number 1 position and run the gauntlet, so to speak, and end up the last one left to win.
So, it was one of those things where it's like, he won. Cool. Now we go on to WrestleMania. You know, before that we had the whole thing. We had to have Bryan and Roman and Fastlane, and I thought, okay, well, there's that match. We were supposed to have Bryan and Edge versus Roman and Jay, but of course, that couldn't happen, you know. So then we have to have this match at Fastlane, and then we have to have Bryan go, hey, I have an idea. Because WrestleMania is 2 nights, let's have Edge versus Roman for the Universal title, and the winner gets to face me. And he's all smiles and giggly tits and all that. And you're a fucking idiot, Brian. We have to have a triple threat, that's fine. Honestly, we are where we are now, but I mean, Edge came back. You couldn't put the title on him? Are you serious right now? You know, it's one of those things where it's like, why did you bother?
Yeah.
Why did you bother? He could have went over to AEW. He could have went over to Impact Wrestling. You could have did that. You know, you had that missed opportunity with him. And then you go to Judgment Day. And the Judgment Day, I thought was a good stable. And then they kick him out.
Yeah.
And then, you know, making his return again, having a match, and then he got injured. Again! Well, it was Beth this time. So, I'm not sure what's going to happen. But when he comes back, do it right.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Because you do this all the time. You choose who you want to put over. Edge is a great example of somebody that you should put over.
Yeah.
But for some reason, he didn't get that opportunity. You know, it wasn't a good match at WrestleMania. You're damn right it was. But it could have been a lot more. But I mean, you look at the weeks to follow, and I kind of make a joke about it because this was Paul White's last time in WWE, and he got beat up by Randy Orton, and so was Christian. Christian got beaten up, punted by Randy Orton. Mark Henry, well, he didn't really get beat up by Randy Orton, but for a little. So it's like a few weeks later, a few months later, whatever it was, you see them all in AEW. So, I mean, that was not really funny, but a coincidence. But this was a good show. All around, this was a good show. And they were given with what they've had.
Yeah. Yeah, they were given a opportunity to still have the Royal Rumble and on a like different atmosphere than, you know, the Performance Center.
Yeah.
And they utilized it to the best of their abilities. And it worked for what it, like, Royal Rumble that year, I don't think was as anticipated as, like, previous years, or, well, last year or this year coming.
Yeah.
But, like, it was still fairly good considering circumstances.
Yes.
And, you know, as the, well, you know, couple of cliches, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, and you take chicken shit and turn it into chicken salad.
And at the time, I don't think anybody, including us, knew the circumstances with the pandemic.
Yeah.
So when they finally said, okay, we're going to greenlight WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium.
Yeah.
And it's still going to be 2 nights, which I think is a very good idea. So there's that. And I mean, yeah, it was a good show. And, you know, last year was a good show. This year, I hope, you know, it's going to be in Hollywood, so I'm not quite sure what it's going to entail, what's going to happen, you know? So we'll see. And I'll talk about that in a minute, but I can see us talk about WrestleMania 21.
Probably.
So, but yeah, you know what? Like I said, for what it was, and I think I even may have taped it here, so when I got back from my parents, I was able to watch it live, or well, on TV.
Yeah.
Which makes things much better than a
Yeah.
fucking computer, but again, all around a good show. And I think there could be, and they're starting to get better with that. Well, they're starting to have the whole thing with, like, the falls count anyway. They count
Yeah.
everywhere. They're starting to do that, and I think, again, that's cool. I think more of that.
Yeah.
We just watched Raw where they had a steel cage match. I haven't seen that in a while on Raw or SmackDown.
Steel cage match. Meh.
So this has been another episode of Wheels of Fury,
Yeah.
and this is the last installment of Look Back at Royal Rumbles.
Yeah.
So, well, we're gonna bring this back anyways. Except I think this time we did that last year. Pick 3 and then talk about those.
Yeah, I think with doing the 5, it was like, it was a lot of pressure to get it all in time. So, I think doing 3 is much.
We did 5?
88, 95, 02,
Oh, yeah.
2016, 2021.
That's right, yeah.
And I mean, wanted to do one from kind of each decade.
Right, I forgot about that.
And I mean, it was a great idea. It's just, we were able to get in the 4
Right.
before, Royal Rumble. And so to have 2021 kind of after the fact, I mean, it's, it is what it is, but I think stick to 3.
Well, we could still, I didn't think about that.
Or even 4,
Yeah.
the window from, the, 3-week window can fit in, 3 or 4 look backs at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about, we could end up doing 4 WrestleManias.
Yeah.
We just have to, plan better, I guess. Like I said, I'm glad we were able to do this because we could crunch the previous Royal Rumble predictions. I'm glad that they are Saturday.
And see, that's another thing too, because we did so many look back Royal Rumbles, also fitting in Royal Rumble predictions for this year. We got it in just so being able to, let's say we only do 3, we can pick whatever years we want.
Yes.
And then also fit in, so we could do, one week, one the next week. And then the Friday before Royal Rumble, could do the last look back and predictions for the current year.
Yeah.
But I digress.
That's something to think about, I guess. But we'll see what happens when WrestleMania season comes up. But obviously, like I said, we have Vengeance Day, Revolution,
Battle of the Valley.
Battle of the Valley. We'll fit that in somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm sure. We'll see. There's just a lot of really good wrestling this year.
Yeah.
Again. So,
Yep.
yeah. So anyways, for me and Matt, this is Killer Kyle. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye.